As Stormy Daniels testified in the criminal case against former President Donald Trump in New York on Tuesday, Trump's lawyers asked for a mistrial after the judge allowed Daniels to say things that added no material value to the trial. It's not what the trial was about, but they were said to insult and embarrass the former president and to prejudice the jury against him. Judge Merchan admitted that some of the things Daniels said were better left unsaid, and then he refused to declare a mistrial and blamed Trump's lawyers for not fighting harder to stop her. And we're going to talk about the unfairness of this trial, the lawlessness of the judge, and the penchant for ignoring due process by the prosecutor. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So it was last year that Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg charged Trump with 34 felonies, making false business records about payments he made to Michael Cohen, his former lawyer. He said that Trump gave Daniels $130,000 in so-called hush money to keep quiet about the affair she allegedly had with the former president. Todd Blanche, Trump's lawyer, said that Daniels' claims during the prosecution's direct questioning were different from what she said in public before back in 2016. He said, quote, "We move for a mistrial based on the testimony of this witness," he told Merchan on Tuesday, saying that Daniels had crossed the guardrails set by the very court. He said a lot of the testimony that this witness talked about today is way different than the story she was peddling in 2016. She said things like she blacked out during the claimed sexual encounter that she had with Trump. In addition, she said that she didn't use a condom and that Trump was bigger than her, so she had made a power difference in her mind. She said, "I just think I blacked out. I was not drugged. I was not drunk. I just don't remember." Very convenient for her story, right? She said, "I told very few people that we actually had sex because I felt ashamed that I didn't stop it." That's nothing of what she said in 2016. When Daniels talked about seeing Trump after she claimed the encounter, Blanche said he qualified that it was in an open place, a public place. She talked about a consensual encounter with President Trump that she was trying to sell. And that's not the story she told today, he told the judge. But now we've heard it, and it is an issue. How can you unring the bell? So she has changed the details of her story once again, and she can never remember the important details like times, dates, etc., right? Blanche told us this is the kind of testimony that makes it impossible to come back from. Not even talking about the fact that we're talking about somebody is going to go out and campaign this afternoon. He went on and said, "This has nothing to do with the reason why we're here, Your Honor." She testified today about consent, about danger, and that's not the story she was peddling. Now, he's right. This trial is not about anything that may have happened between Trump and the porn star, okay? It's about the communists are accusing Trump of falsifying documents to cover up what happened with the porn star, but it has nothing to do with that interaction, whether it exists or not. And he went on to say, "I don't think anybody can listen to what that witness said, think that has anything to do with the charges, and the entire testimony is so prejudicial that you run the very high risk of the jury not being able to focus on the evidence that actually does matter," Blanche said. He asked for a new trial, but Merchan turned him down. He blamed the defense for not objecting more when the prosecution questioned Daniels. Look, he was the judge. He should have done a correction where he put his foot down and told the prosecution, "Stop that line of questioning now." That was as much his job as it was the defense attorney's. The judge said to this, quote, "As a threshold matter, I agree, Mr. Blanche, that there were some things that probably would have been better left unsaid." You think? Having said that, I don't believe we're at a point where a mistrial was warranted. Really? So he allowed the jury to hear the garbage that Stormy had to say about Trump. Trump's under a gag order, so he's not allowed to respond in public, right? Is that fair at all? I mean, he allows Stormy to testify in the trial that has nothing to do with Stormy Daniels' story. She contributed no material evidence. The judge allowed her to go on like that because he knew it was going to be done to embarrass Trump and to make him look bad to the jury. That is not his job. If anybody still thinks Trump can get a fair trial in this courtroom, you have to have your head examined. Here are 3 fun facts about the case that I can guarantee you this judge will not explain to the jury in his instructions. Number 1, NDAs are legal. Number 2, paying for silence is legal. Number 3, reimbursing a lawyer is legal and considered a legal expense. If you were on that jury and you heard all that nonsense that this judge has allowed to be said during this trial, and you didn't know those 3 facts, you would vote guilty. And that's exactly why this judge is doing these things to Trump. His job is to keep Trump away from campaigning as long as he can and to make sure he is found guilty. Now, here's some parting words I want you to take to heart. You probably don't know this, but back in 2016, right before the election, the National Enquirer's parent company, American Media Incorporated, paid $30,000 to a former doorman at one of Donald Trump's real estate New York City properties for a salacious story he told about Trump. The doorman, Dino Sajudin, received $30,000 in exchange for turning over the rights in perpetuity to a story about Trump's sex life, mainly that the president fathered a child with a staffer at Trump World Tower, a skyscraper he owns near the United Nations. This happened right before 2016 election, and Democrats even then tried to get the DOJ to investigate if Trump violated campaign finance laws. Now, Radar Online, an Enquirer's sister publication, reported on the money and the rumor that Sajudin was selling. According to the website, the Enquirer spent 4 weeks reporting on the claim before concluding it was false. The corporation only removed Sajudin from his contract after the 2016 election. Convenient, right? Following an inquiry from the Journal regarding the payment. According to the website, the Associated Press was one of several publications looking into the ex-doorman's tip. Why did Sajudin go to the media with this story when it was false? Because he wanted a quick payday, knowing that a billionaire who was running for president would probably pay the money to keep the story out of the headlines, even though it was a complete fabrication. Can you imagine if that fake news story was actually published? They would have trashed Trump, claiming he knocked up an employee, and how could he be trusted as president? It would be endless, and it would have destroyed a hard-fought campaign, all based on a lie. When asked about the payment last summer, Dylan Howard, the Enquirer's senior editor and an AMI executive, said he paid to ensure the former Trump doorman's exclusive participation because the tip, if genuine, would have sold hundreds of thousands of magazines. Ultimately, he stated that the information, quote, lacked any credibility. So he spiked the story on those grounds. Doesn't it make a lot more sense with the other story of a porn star right before an election demanding hush money from a billionaire who's running for president for a story that she fabricated about Trump having sex with her? Doesn't it? All right, guys, smash that like button. If you think this whole trial was a sham, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share our videos with friends who want to stay informed. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.